What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with Outpost, and as a lot of you know, one of the things I like to do is just search Google for Star Wars Expanded Universe and kind of filter for news and just see what people are talking about. Because even though the Expanded Universe, was discontinued in 2014 by Disney, by Lucasfilm, and they set it aside, people are still talking about it quite a bit. Because so many of those characters are so well loved and respected, and we're not exactly getting that from the Disney sequel trilogy and the Disney canon. So a lot of people are reaching back to the EU and asking questions about the EU, and it's awesome because, in my opinion, the Expanded Universe is better Star Wars than what we're getting. However, I saw an article today about this man here, Gary Whitta, who is a writer who has worked for Lucasfilm. He is one of the writers of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. He's also written some stuff for Rebels and things like that. And it was weird because I'll just go ahead and show you the title now. We'll spoil it. Star Wars Rogue One co-writer wants to kill Dash Rendar. Now, if you don't know who Dash Rendar is, he is a character from the Star Wars Expanded Universe. If you've ever played a game called Shadows of the Empire, I played it for N64 when it first came out. Well, maybe not when it first came out, but I played it on N64. And it's an awesome game. It takes place basically between, right as kind of Episode 5 starts and before Episode 6. You play a character called Dash Rendar, who is very much a Han Solo type character who gets involved with the rebellion. He's kind of a mercenary for hire. He ends up meeting a lot of our heroes like Leia and Lando and Luke. He plays a part in trying to actually find Han Solo because at this point, after Episode 5, obviously Han Solo has been captured. And he holds a dear place in a lot of people's hearts as a character from the Expanded Universe. So I thought this was weird that a writer for Lucasfilm would say he wants to kill him. So let's get into it and we can get maybe some context here. One of the writers of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, wants to kill a fan-favorite Expanded Universe character. A fan on Twitter asked Gary Whitta if he'd be interested in writing a Star Wars movie about Dash Rendar. And we can actually pull it up right... where is it? Got too many tabs. Right here. Wisconsin Life asks, Gary Whitta, would you be interested in doing a Dash Rendar movie? Gary Whitta says, can I kill him? If so, yes. And I thought that was strange. It doesn't look like he has any... I don't know if he knows who Dash Rendar is. I have no idea about any of that. Could he just be making a joke because he killed so many people in Rogue One? Maybe. I'm not quite sure. It's obviously pretty unclear. None of the replies or anything really cleared up. So I did think that was very blunt and a very strange way to answer a question. But it was just to me, and maybe I'm a little sensitive and protective towards the Expanded Universe, but that's like that feels like what they tried to do to all the EU characters was just kill them, just push them aside and kill them until they wanted to bastardize them and bring them back for their story. And we'll get into it here, but Dash Rendar actually does theoretically exist in their canon. He has one very brief appearance in a book, and we'll get into it right here. Lucasfilm created Dash Rendar for the Star Wars Shadows of the Empire multimedia project in 1996. The story, which is now relegated to non-canon Legends, so the Expanded Universe became Legends. Rendar is a hotshot pilot who teams up with Luke and Leia between the events of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi while Han was stuck in Carbonite. While Shadows of the Empire was removed from canon along with the rest of the Expanded Universe materials, Rendar does exist in new canon. He's mentioned in Solo, a Star Wars story tie-in book, Tales from Vandor. The book is presented as the journal of the bartender Midnight, who got to know some of Star Wars universe's most popular scoundrels, including Han and Lando. The journal includes an entry in where Midnight recalls a conversation with Dash Rendar about Han and Chewbacca, noting that Dash Rendar believed Chewie to be the brains of the duo. And here's the quote from there. It's just a funny little quote. And there's obviously the tweet that we just went over. So they did decide for this book, and I don't know if they think it's some sort of nod to the Expanded Universe. I don't know if they think that they're impressing people, like if they're trying to win goodwill by just putting a character that doesn't exist anymore in this brief little line. That's I can tell you for me, that doesn't do anything. And I actually had somebody in my comment section says, Ryan wants more EU to be involved in Star Wars. J.J. Abrams steals EU plot. Ryan is mad. No. I have been very clear that once Lucasfilm made the decision in 2014 to abandon the Star Wars expanded universe, that they should stay away from it. If that's what you decided to do, then that's fine. If you tossed aside all of this stuff that you had ready to go with a preset fan base built in, with stories already there, all this lore that you could have built upon, you decided not to. You went another direction and you abandoned it. You decanonized it and you spit in everybody's faces. I don't want you to go anywhere near the expanding universe. That includes bringing little mention of these characters, little mentions of Revan in the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker Visual Dictionary, because you're just using a name. That's not the character, because you're not going to keep their origins true. You're not going to keep their story true. You're just using a name. That's all it is. Just like Thrawn in Rebels. When they brought Thrawn back in Rebels, it was just a blue guy who was named Thrawn. It was not Grand Admiral Thrawn, and that's very clear if you've read Heir to the Empire and Timothy Zahn's original trilogy, and then you see the cucked version of Grand Admiral Thrawn that is in Rebels. And I didn't mean to get this heated. I kind of got off on a tangent and started screaming. But yeah, so I don't want them to touch the expanding universe unless they're deciding that is what they're going to consider. For some reason, if they decide to do some kind of reboot or something like that, I want Legends to be continued as its own thing at this point. Make more novels and more comic books under the Legends banner in that universe. Stop trying to cherry pick this little stuff. Stop trying to cherry pick these characters that are so beloved. That drives me absolutely insane. Dash Rendar has always been a divisive character from the expanded universe. I don't agree with that at all. Some fans see him as a Han Solo knockoff, created to fill in for Han during Shadows of the Empire story. Others grew fond of him while reading Steve Perry's Shadow of the Empire novel or playing as him in Shadows of the Empire video game for Nintendo 64. Would you like to see Dash Rendar Star Wars movie, or would you prefer he be forgotten? Let us know in the comments. Yeah, I don't think he's that divisive of a character. I think, like almost nearly every character, you're going to have some people that like him and some people that don't. But him in particular, I don't see as a divisive character. He definitely is a Han Solo type character, and that's what he was meant to be in this story where we have a gap between... because Han Solo is not there. So you have this character that does try to kind of serve his role as... whether it be comedic relief or just his skill set, yeah, definitely, that makes sense. But I always thought that Dash Rendar was a really cool character. Not as cool as Han, obviously, because not really anyone's as cool as Han. Unless you're talking about Episode 7, Force Awakens Han Solo, that dude is a bitch. But as far as this statement by this Lucasfilm author, like I said, can I kill him? If so, yes. Maybe that's just because he killed so many people in Rogue One, which I don't know if you guys have heard my opinion about Rogue One. I do think it's far and away the best Star Wars movie that's been produced under Disney. I do think that it doesn't have too much rewatchability. I do think that it was a huge shock factor and a great battle scene at the end, as well as that Vader scene, obviously, that really got people amped up and left with a good feeling. And I think that really affects how a lot of people feel about Rogue One. But upon rewatch, at least for me, it really was lacking a little bit. But still, a good movie. A really good movie. Just not a masterpiece or anything like that. But Gary Whitta, and I was looking through his Twitter. He has tons of stuff on there. He's been posting tons of political stuff lately about what's going on in Richmond with Second Amendment rights and gun control and all these things like that. I don't really want to get into that, but that is it was interesting because I tried to check out his Twitter, see if he responds a lot. And he is tweeting galore about some pretty controversial political things. This statement, I don't know what it means, unfortunately, other than I didn't take it very well when I saw it. When I saw it, I was like, what do you mean you want to kill him? You want to kill this expanded universe character? That's the only way you'd want to tell a story about him? It was kind of irritating. And I am a little sensitive to that. I will freely admit that I am. I think you heard me kind of get off on a tangent there earlier, but it just kind of goes to show you the lack of respect that a lot of people have at Lucasfilm for kind of what came before it. At least that's how I really view it, what he said. He could have just been making a joke, and I don't want to hammer the guy about it, but He did say it, so I'm just kind of making a comment. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think he was serious? Do you think he has a distaste for Dash Rendar? Do you think he has a distaste for the EU? Or do you think he was just saying that, yeah, all the people died in my movie, which could also have been the case? Secondly, would you like to see a character like Dash Rendar come to life in a movie or an animated series, or continued in some way in the expanded universe? Or would you prefer if Disney kind of took him and maybe a bastardized version made something out of him? Would you like to see that? Let me know. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video out there, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.